Dear students, welcome to my class of investment analysis and portfolio management. So, today we are going to discuss about the performance measures of portfolio. So, what do you mean by performance? First question arises here. What do you mean by performance measure? Like if the portfolio, if we have created a portfolio, so the measuring the return associated with that portfolio, that is a part of measuring the performance. Actually, we are trying to check how much return how much return we are getting from that particular portfolio. So, performance measures, there are various measures of performance. Like performance measures, there is an importance of evaluating the performance for a portfolio manager. Like it helps the investor to appraise how well the portfolio manager has achieved the target return. Suppose I estimated a target return of say 20%, and if I am able to achieve my target rate of return, so that would only I would be able to come to know about that only through the measuring the performance. Okay, like how much investment I had done earlier and how much expected return was there, and how much is the actual return that I achieved through my investment decisions. Then the next is it enables the investor to examine how well the target has been achieved in comparison to other mutual funds. Like there are other funds into the market, there are other funds into the market. So, that enables the investor ki how we are able to achieve how we are performing in comparison to our other companies or other mutual fund. How if the portfolio manager is evaluating applying the performance measures, so it means the portfolio manager would be assessing that how much return we are earning and how much return the peer group or the comparative group is earning from the market. Then it enables the fund authorities to evaluate the performance of their investment decisions. Like I invested into the security A, B and C. I have created 3 portfolios. I am a fund manager, I am a portfolio manager, and I have created these 3 portfolios. Now, it helps it would help me, the performance measures, they would help me in identifying my investment decisions. Suppose this portfolio was profitable, this was also profitable, and this has performed slightly negative. So, in that case what would happen here? So, the portfolio manager, I would be able to assess the investment decision, to what extent I was successful in earning the positive rate of return rather than a negative rate of return. Then coming on the portfolio returns, how do we measure the returns? Like returns can be measured from the securities, from portfolio it is a collection. When we talk in terms of security analysis, so it is a collection of securities. So, return is how much amount we have invested earlier, or initial investment, then the amount of money that we are receiving at the end. So, end may how much amount we are receiving at the end. So, how much investment we have done into the market. So, on the basis of that the returns are calculated. So, portfolio's expected return is the weighted average of expected returns of the securities. If I say it is a weighted average of expected returns of the security, it means the proportion of fund I have invested, suppose we have I have invested into 4 securities A, B, C and D. The proportion of fund that suppose I have invested 20% of funds into security A, 30% into security B, 40% into security C and rest 30% into D. The proportional multiplied by the amount of return. Suppose here I am getting 10% return, here I am getting 15% into 0.15, then into suppose here the rate of return is 12, then it is multiplied by 0.3 multiplied by 0.1, here the rate of return is 10%. So, when we calculate, multiply these things and we add them together, then the total return that would come out, that would be known as the weighted average of expected return of the security. Now, the contribution of each security to the portfolio's expected return depends on its expected return and its proportionate share of the initial portfolio's market value. Initially, how much investment is done initially and how much investment we have received, how much amount we have received at the end. Suppose I invested 1 lakh rupees or 1000 rupees today and at the end of 1 year I received 1500. So, how much return is there? What is the percentage of return here? It is 500 divided by 1000 multiplied by 100. So, here we would be able to calculate the returns. So, that is this is all about the portfolio returns. Now, there are various methods of calculating the portfolio return. It can be calculated through variety of methods like holding period return is there, then annual return, arithmetic mean return, geometric mean return, dollar or money weighted rate of return, then time weighted rate of return. So, all these measures they are applied to this portfolio. Then these 2 measures, these 4 measures, they are the part of measuring return. Return can be measured through these portfolio returns can be measured with the help of these 4 techniques. Then these 2 measures, they are the portfolio performance measure. With this, the performance of portfolio manager can be judged. Now, let us talk about each one of them in detail. So, first is the holding period return. It is the total return which is earned by an investment over its whole holding period, which is generally expressed as a percentage of initial value of the investment. So, the amount of money that we are investing initially into the it is the amount of investment which is done initially. So, initial investment, then it is calculated as capital gain and income, sum of capital gain and income divided by opening value of investment. So, here the formula of holding period return is P1 minus P0 plus I is the investment and P0 is the initial investment. So, I stands for income, that is interest or dividend, interest or dividend or rent. P1 is the closing value of investment and P0 is the beginning value of the investment. Holding period return can also be calculated with this formula. This formula can be applied in calculating the holding period return. Then, for example, how do we calculate the holding period return? Suppose 3 years ago Mr. Ram invested $10,000 in shares of ABC company, and each year company distribute dividend to its shareholders. Now company is distributing dividend to the shareholders and sold his shares for $12,000 and wants to determine the HPR on investment. Now what is the income? 100 rupees Mr. Ram is getting 100 rupees as a dividend, and those 100 rupees are received by Mr. Ram for 3 years. So, 100 into 3, this comes out to be $300, 3 years income. Then HPR would be income plus ending value minus initial investment upon divided by beginning value. So, it comes out to be 23%. If you calculate this, the value of this would comes out to be 23%. Now, annual return. Annual returns, the return on it is a return on an investment over a year. If we are keeping our funds for 1 year into the bank or somewhere else, so in any other security, so during that 1 year how much return the investor has received, and it is calculated as percentage of initial investment. Suppose I invest $10,000 for 1 year for 12 months or 1 year. So, it becomes $12,000 at the end of the year. So, the annual return is 2,000 divided by 10,000 multiplied by 100. If we will calculate this, so this value comes out to be 20% is the annual return on the investment that we have received from here. Now, next is arithmetic mean. It is simply the sub period mean of adding all the returns, like return for the first year, return for the second year, return for the third year, and it is up to nth year it is added, and simply it is divided by the n number of years, right. Next, geometric average return. So, geometric in case of arithmetic average, what we have done, like we have included A, B, C, D. These are the 4 securities. The return for security A is 10%, return for security B is 12%, return for security C is, say it is 15%, and in case of security D the return is 9%. So, what would be the arithmetic return from this? This it comes out to be 10 plus 12 plus 15 plus 9 divided by, these are the 4 securities. So, n divided by the n numbers. So, this way we would be able to calculate the arithmetic returns from this. Then next is geometric return. So, for geometric return we need to have annual return, and in case of geometric returns the compounding is done, it is a compounding nature of an investment. So, the amount of money that we are receiving, that is compounded in case of geometric mean. So, it is an average rate of return on an investment which is held for multiple periods, such as such that any income which is compounded. So, average rate of return and on an investment, and it is held for multiple period. Like here the compounding is done and the geometric mean is calculated with this formula 1 plus r 1 plus into 1 plus r 2 1 plus r n to the power 1 by n minus 1. So, with this we can calculate the geometric mean. So, here r 1, r 2, r and r n, they are sub period return, and n is the total number of sub period returns which are available, which is available here. Now, next coming on the measures of performance. There are certain performance measures which are like money weighted rate of return, it is also a measure of performance. Then we have time weighted rate of return, that is also a measure of performance. So, a money weighted rate of return, it is a measure of rate of return on a portfolio of asset. It is calculated in case of money weighted rate of return. What happens? Since it is based on IRR, internal rate of return. So, money weighted rate of, here we take into consideration the cash flows, when the cash flow is taking place and how much cash flow is taking place from the organization, and what is the present value of those cash flows, right. So, it is calculated by finding the rate of return that will set the present values of all cash flows and terminal values equal to the initial investment. So, money weight, in case of money weighted rate of return, it puts it can be calculated with the, it is a present value that values of all the cash flows and terminal values of all the cash flows that should be equal to the initial investment. That means, since it is based on money weighted rate of return is equivalent to internal rate of return IRR. So, the IRR is something where the NPV of an investment alternative that becomes 0. Now, let us take an example of money weighted rate of return. An investor purchases a share at t is equal to 0. Here time is at the start of the year, investor has purchased a share for $200. At the end of each year, year 1, first year के end में what happens at the end of first year, the investor purchases an additional share, means at the end of first year the investor would be having the 2 shares, or at the starting of the second year the investor will be having 2 shares, and as for an investor purchased these shares for 225. She then sells both the shares at the end of second year for $235. See, at the end of second year the shares were sold for rupees 235. She also received annual dividend of $5 per share at the end of each year. Now, we are required to calculate the money weighted rate of return. Now, what is happening here? We have made a timeline, that is 0, 1 and 2. 2 years, till 2 years the decisions are taken by the investor. So, initially investor purchases a share. One share was purchased by the investor for $200, and at the time of purchase of share the cash outflow is there, and cash outflow was $200. So, that is why a negative sign is put here. Then at the end of first year, investor purchases additional share and one more share for $225. Now, this time he purchased a share for $225, and since it was a purchase of share, so the amount is, it is minus $225, and dividend received by the investor, it is an income, it is an income. So, the value comes out to be $220. Now, at the end of second year, she sold. Now, whenever we are selling the shares, the amount of money which investor is receiving, that money is the cash inflow. So, how much money the investor is receiving? 235 into 2 multiplied by 2, since 2 shares are there. So, 235 is multiplied by 2, 470, it comes out to be 470 plus dividend of 5 rupees on each share. Now, at the end of second year, investor was having 2 shares and 5 multiplied by 2, 10 rupees she received as a dividend. So, total amount of inflow was 480. Now, since money weighted rate of return, it is a IRR. So, it is a discount rate at which the NPV becomes 0. So, here the for 0th year, for the initial year 0th year, what is happening? 200 is the present value for this year. Then for second year 220, we would calculate the present value of this amount. This amount we would calculate the present value. R is the discount rate plus 480 upon 1 plus R square. Again it is a discount rate and it is equal to 0. Now, through trial and error method, IRR would comes out to be 9.4. If I must tell you, if IRR is positive, we have to bring it down up to 0. If it is positive, it means we have to reduce it, we need to apply higher rate. If it is negative, then we need to apply the lower discount rate to it. So, here the through trial and error method, this IRR comes out to be 9.4. Now, next is moving on time weighted rate of return. So, time weighted rate of return, it is the weighted average of internal rate of return for sub period between the cash flows, and it is weighted by length of sub period. So, it is the internal rate of return, it is actually it is weighted by length of sub period. That means, time weighted rate of return, this is actually it is a geometric mean. So, here we take into consideration the compounding of money is done, compounding is done. So, the time weighted rate of return is a measure of compound rate of growth in a portfolio. So, here the growth rate is compounded, and it is since it is based on geometric mean. Here the investor decides, in case of time weighted rate of return, investor decides about the timing of investment. Investor decide about the withdrawal of the investments. When to withdraw, when to invest, that is decided by the investor. Then next, because since this method is it eliminates all the distorting effects which are created by inflow of new money, it is used to compare the return of investment manager. The time weighted rate of return is equal to ending value minus beginning value divided by beginning value. For example, an investor purchases a share at t is equal to 0 for $200. Investor has purchased a share for $200 at t is equal to 0. At the end of the year, at t is equal to 1, the investor purchases an additional share of same stock. Now, this time investor has purchased it for $220. See, then shares, both the shares at the end of second year for $230 each, dividend per share was $3 per share. Now, we have to calculate the time weighted rate of return. So, here the in this case what would happen कि early in the 0th year again we would make a timeline 0, 1 and 2. So, in the 0th year the initial investment was at t is equal to 0, the investment was $200. This was the investment. Ending value of the stock at the end of the 1 year, the value of this stock becomes 220, यानी कि next time when investor purchased an additional share, so this value comes out to be 220. Then the dividend is so ending value of the stock is this, dividend $3 per share investor received. So, the total return which is received by an investor at the end of this period is 3 plus 20 rupees appreciation in the value of share divided by 200. It comes out to be 11.5%. For the first year, in case of time weighted rate of return, we used to find out the return for every year. For first year it comes out to be 11.5%, and for second year the return comes out to as 5.9%, because what is happening in the second year, initial investment of investor now the investor has purchased a share at the rate of $220. So, 220 multiplied by 2, it comes out to be initial investment is 440. Then the investor sold the share at $230 multiplied by 2 shares, since there are 2 shares being purchased by the investors. So, the value comes out to be this 460. Now, dividend here for 2 shares is 6 rupees, this is also an income. So, total income is 466. So, the return of the investor would be 6 rupees plus this difference is 20 rupees divided by 440. So, this value comes out to be 5.9%. Now, we would apply the formula of geometric mean, since time weighted rate of return is a geometric mean. So, here the formula is applied 1 plus R1 into 1 plus R2 to the power 1 by n minus 1. So, it comes out to be 8 points. When we solve this equation, the value comes out to be 8.66%. Now, there is a difference between time weighted and money weighted rate of return. So, money weighted rate of return is quite sensitive, it is based on IRR, and time weighted rate of return is it is less sensitive, it is based on geometric mean. So, it takes into consideration the cash flows, it takes into consideration the annual returns, because it is based on geometric mean. So, in case of money weighted rate of return, the portfolio manager is the one who decides about the investment and withdrawal of money, while in case of time weighted rate of return, it is the investor who decides about the timing of cash flows. Here the investor decides about the timing of cash flows, here the portfolio manager decides about the timing of cash flows. So, this was all about the time weighted and money weighted rate of return. Apart from various performance measures that we have studied till now, we have certain determinants of portfolio performance evaluation, like investment policy, stock selection, market timing. So, whatever investment policy, whatever investment strategy is designed by an investor, that particular strategy, that particular policy the investor needs to take into consideration on the basis of the type of stock the investor is selecting, on the basis of the market timing, like what kind of conditions are persisting into the stock market, whether it is bull market, bear market, or is this there is boom into the stock market. So, which we have to be very being an investor, and we have to be very careful while selecting the stocks, and the stock selection is done on the basis of technical analysis. And in the entire lecture we have studied about the various measures of portfolio return, the portfolio measures like money weighted and time weighted rate of return. Then we have studied about the determinants of portfolio performance measures. So, thank you students for patient listening, and I am really grateful to all of you for listening this lecture so patiently. Thank you.